Hello and very warm welcome to Money Petrol's edition. Today's guest is a very learned man. He's into accounting and consulting, and he's a big auditor in Dubai. Welcome, Mr. Saad Maniar, to Money Petrol.
Thank you very much for inviting, Amit.
Mr. Saad, UAE has always been a tax-free regime, and people have enjoyed this environment for a very long time. Today's topic for our people is on taxation, the corporate tax in particular. The corporate tax, people, how are they adapting to the entire policy by the UAE government? I want your inputs on the same.
Yes, that's a very good question, but it's a misconception that the UAE was a tax-free environment. Actually, even before this corporate tax came into the effect, certain mineral and natural resources companies and the banks, they were already being taxed at a certain rate, and they continue to be taxed at a different rate. The corporate tax was introduced to align with the OECD standards so that the harmonization of the taxation system can happen, and to avoid mainly the exploitation of the tax-free environment. So UAE was known for its tax-free status. Free zone companies were enjoying a lot of benefits of no tax here in the region, and so were the mainland companies. From the time this corporate tax has come in, it has brought in a lot of discipline in the marketplace, and we hope that this discipline will improve the maturity of the country as a whole. So overall, the tax is very good.
Mr. Maniar, there are companies in the mainland, there are individuals who are having their own companies, SMEs, and many other businesses operating in UAE. What type of registrations are required, and how or what kind of businesses are entitled for registration? Who can register, who cannot?
For the registration, as far as the corporation tax is concerned, all the companies established here in the UAE, including certain individuals who are doing certain type of business, needs to be registered for the corporate tax purpose. The registration has to be done within 3 months of the company being incorporated. Failing to do so results in a penalty of 10,000 dirhams. Right, so that's the first and foremost. All the companies are required to register, and the corporate tax is applicable on them. Certain free zone companies who are in the qualifying free zone and with the qualifying activities, they are liable to tax, but at 0% rate at this moment. So this is the overall tax framework we have here currently applicable. The first tax return, which is due for the December 24 year end, is by the September 30.
Are there any slabs mentioned under which you can pay your corporate tax?
So the slab, in the sense that small businesses are kind of exempted from it for a reason that 375,000, the first 375,000 of the profit, you don't pay any tax. Anything above 375,000 dirhams profit, you pay tax on those profits. And for a very large companies, which is coming under Pillar 2, which will be applicable from the next year onwards, the Pillar 2 means very large multinational companies having a turnover of 750 million euros plus. They need to pay 15% corporate tax. This is again to harmonize the global taxation with the global taxation requirements. So the OECD is kind of implementing the global tax policy with the minimum of 15%. So in the Pillar 2, the large companies will fall into that, and slowly down the line, maybe all the smaller companies will also be brought to that level of 15%.
Mr. Maniar, talking about the investors, looking at UAE for investments in real estate or many other sectors and all that, is it going to impact somewhere, or they should be carefree about this?
Yeah. The first impact, of course, people think when they have to pay something is negative. That's the human mindset. However, in my view, it is going to have a positive impact. Now, why I say it is positive is because these multinational companies who used to or who tend to shy away from investing into the UAE because of the tax haven status, so they will now not be shying away from this investing in the UAE market, because now it's no longer a tax haven, right? So it is important to understand that the foreign direct investment will flow into the country, and we have seen that in the past 1 or 2 years that a lot of foreign direct investments from the corporates as well as individuals is coming into the country, right? I was part of one conference where about 200 CEOs were attending that conference. This is even before the corporate tax was announced, and there was a poll done in front of the Minister of Economy, and everyone was asked to provide their feedback whether the corporate tax, introduction of the corporate tax, would have a positive or a negative impact. And 99%, by the show of hands, I can tell that 99% of the people, of the CEOs in the room, reacted positively towards it. And they felt that this corporate tax is going to bring a lot of discipline in the market, the maturity, and the business growth, what is needed.
Mr. Maniar, when we look at big businesses, there are costs involved. There are profits, of course. There are pricing models of every company. Of course, these profits, these revenues are very, very dear to every company. So, in your opinion, how are people going to adjust to these kind of, taxes where they are feeling that it can impact their profits or the pricing models?
So, of course, there is going to be the impact on the profit. But they got to worry about the cash flow more than the profit, because at the end of the day, the profit you earn, and if you consume all the cash flow, and when it comes to the time when you have to make the payment to the tax authorities and you don't have the cash flow available, then you would be in a deep trouble. So it is important to understand the distinction between the profit and the cash flow. Of course, a little bit of refinement in the pricing and the strategy needs to be there. So if they were to maintain the same level of profits or better than what they used to before, then they have to adjust their pricing a little bit. But from my point of view, it's more about the cash flow than the profit itself.
I want to have your opinion on how transparency would be defined when all this process is implemented properly. Say it has just started, but in next 2 years, 5 years from now, how the transparency model will be working?
Of course, the tax is all about the transparency, and globally the governance has increased. The AI is playing the role in terms of monitoring the patterns in which the businesses are making money and paying the taxes. So it is going to bring a lot of transparency. People will be named and shamed, and so the reputation damage is at stake. So what in earlier days, what used to happen where people are hiding behind the corporate veil will no longer be possible within the new framework which the OECD has kind of implemented. So for globally, the transparency is high on the agenda. And for that reason, the transfer pricing law, which is part of the corporate tax law, will play a big role in terms of bringing more transparency to the table.
How are the import-exports going to be impacted?
Import-export, this corporate tax would not have much direct impact. It is more of a VAT impact, but in my opinion, the import and export, the overall business will improve, certainly.
They will improve. So any further advice for these businesses who are feeling that, yes, there can be some impact on us and all that? As an expert, what would you like to directly advise to those people?
My advice to for the small businesses and the corporates alike would be that follow the law properly, maintain the proper documentation, do the proper assessment of your tax position, and retain the documentation for at least 7 years period. Now, 7 years period, as per the law, is the benchmark provided to retain the documentation. However, when there is certain investigations or complications within the tax returns, then they may be required to maintain the documentation beyond 7 years also. So while 7 years is a general rule of thumb, it may be some cases necessary that you maintain the documentation for more than 7 years. Failing to do so will have the severe consequences, and to the extent that the business may have to be closed down.
Are you also encountering some of the doubts coming from some businesses that you are already handling or auditing and all that? So apart from the questions that we had from MoneyPetrol, what are the other kind of doubts that people are, giving to you as questions?
Yeah, so the main doubts at this moment in time is two things. What are the allowed deductibles from that? So not the full profit that you have as per the IFRS is allowed to be used for the calculation of tax purpose. There are certain items within the profit and loss account which are not allowed to be used as a deduction. So there has to be the add back to the profit before we calculate the tax. So this is one aspect. And the another one is about the transfer pricing, and especially when it comes to the related party transactions. In the UAE, the number of companies that exist and the related party operations that exist are too many relationships. As per the corporate tax regulations, the transactions between the related party has to be the arm's length. By arm's length, what we mean is that the transaction has to be at the price with which you would do the same transaction with any third party, right? So that's the general rule of thumb. It is very difficult to prove that, and we have to, for the UAE as a country, have to have the benchmarks ready and available.
So as per you, is UAE totally ready now?
Yes, of course, ready to get this implementation up and running, and the benefit of this tax will be passed on to the consumers at the end of the day. The basic economic principle rule is that when the government is taxing people, it plays a multiplier effect in the economy. The tax that we pay to the government comes back to the end users, and it plays the multiplier effect. So it's going to be sparking the growth to the economic growth to the region as a whole.
I think you really answered all our questions very well, and I hope the viewers have got the right kind of information, and looking forward to more such conversations. Today's conversation by an expert himself, Mr. Saad Maniar. Please do remember, documentation and discipline and transparency are the things that the UAE government is looking at. Please play safe in UAE, follow the rules, follow the laws, and your businesses will flourish in UAE. The great land of UAE is offering a lot in terms of businesses. UAE is all about supporting businesses. Corporate tax is nothing to worry about for smaller businesses or individuals at all. Just follow the laws. Thank you very much, Mr. Saad, for speaking to MoneyPetrol. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Amit. Appreciate it.